Hi everyone, yasas, que kalos tirtate to another episode of Dimitra's Dishes. Today I'm going to teach you how to make a very garlicky garlic bread. This is so good. It's definitely better than any garlic bread that I've ever had because I'm going to be using roasted garlic to make this. And I don't know if you've ever tried garlic bread with roasted garlic, but fresh garlic kind of has a really strong flavor. It doesn't melt completely in the oven, but roasted garlic really mellows out, gets a little sweet, and it's just so delicious and so easy to make. I'm going to show you two ways to roast the garlic. Let's get started. I'm going to show you how to do it two ways, with whole garlic bulbs and also with peeled garlic cloves. I know that lots of people like to buy their garlic already peeled. Costco has huge bags of it and it's so easy to use. So to use the peeled garlic, it's so easy. You just take as much as you like of this, depending on what size pan you're using, and you're just going to make an even layer of the garlic cloves into the pan and top it with lots of olive oil till it's almost halfway covered. You want lots of olive oil to this because that is what's going to help cook the garlic and make it nice and soft. And then I like to sprinkle some salt over the top. That's it. Let's set that aside and let's do the second method. So you're just going to take 3 heads of garlic, or as many as you like, depending on how much bread you're making. But for 1 loaf of bread, you're going to need 3 heads of garlic like I'm using. You could even add 4 if you want more delicious roasted garlic flavor. You're just going to cut off the top so that way those cloves are exposed. And then again, drizzle some olive oil on them. I have a small tray that's lined with aluminum foil. And I'm just going to put the garlic cloves on top. Again, drizzle the oil over top and sprinkle some salt. Then go ahead and cover the garlic cloves with the aluminum foil. Some people don't like aluminum foil, so if you don't like aluminum foil touching your garlic, you can do this in a pan that's oven safe or in a baking tray. It's up to you. And then just loosely cover it with aluminum foil so that way it's not touching. Your oven should be preheated to 350 degrees Fahrenheit. They're both gonna go in and cook on the center rack for about 40 minutes. Then go in and check. The garlic that's in the pan that's just the cloves is going to cook much faster. As soon as you see it turn golden brown, you can take it out and you'll see that it's nice and soft. You could literally mash it with a fork. It's ready to be used. The one that's in the foil is going to take a little bit longer. So after about 40 or 45 minutes, go in and uncover the cloves and just open up that foil, pop it back in the oven for another about 15 or 20 minutes until the garlic cloves start to pop out of their little shells. And they're also going to turn a nice golden color as well. Take it out of the oven and let it cool down until it's easy to handle. And now we're just going to make the garlic bread mixture. Okay, so to make the roasted garlic mix that's going to go on the bread, you're going to squeeze out all of those garlic cloves from the head of the garlic. And if any peels fall in there, make sure you take them out. If you're using the roasted garlic cloves, you don't have to worry about peels. But in that case, they're a little bit harder to mash up because they get caramelized and they get a little bit harder. But they're going to be actually so tasty because they're a little bit sweeter. Everywhere that there's color, there's a little bit more sweetness. So what I like to do with those, I like to put them in a little food processor or in a mixer, a blender, something like that, with all of the oil, and I just blend it up into a paste. This freezes beautifully. You can freeze this for, if you put this in an airtight container or freezer safe bag, it'll stay fresh in your freezer for 3 to 4 months. Just make sure to label it, otherwise you won't know what it is. So whichever one you're using, put the garlic in the bowl. And then I also have 1 or 2 garlic cloves, fresh garlic cloves that are grated because they add a little bit of sharpness and more depth of flavor. If you want this with just the roasted garlic, you can leave the fresh garlic out. And then you're going to need about 4 ounces or 1 stick of butter. The butter that I usually buy is Irish butter and it is a little bit salted. So I'm going to use half of it because it's half a pound and all I need is 4 ounces. Make sure that the butter is nice and soft. If you forgot to leave it out, you can pop it in the microwave for a few seconds, but don't let it melt. You just want it to be soft, and then you can go ahead and mash it up with the garlic. I like to season it with a little tiny pinch of salt because I'm also adding Parmesan cheese to the bread in a little bit, and that does add more saltiness. You don't want this to be too salty. I also like to add some dried oregano to this, a heaping teaspoon, because garlic, oregano, and butter go so well together. I also finally chopped a little bit of fresh parsley. I'm going to put that in there and mash everything all together with a fork. This is so simple to do. And just for some more flavor, I did add the oil that was was left over in the foil from the garlic cloves, but it wasn't enough, so I drizzled in another about tablespoon or two of really good quality Greek olive oil. Mix that all up. I have a loaf of bread here. This mixture is good enough to spread on about a pound loaf, so you're gonna go ahead and cut that in half lengthwise. Make sure you're using a long serrated knife. It makes it so easy to slice through the bread. Cut it in half, and you're gonna put it on a baking tray that's lined with parchment paper, and just distribute the garlic butter mixture evenly between the two pieces of bread and just spread it all over the top. I like to use an offset spatula that I use for decorating, for cake decorating, but you can use the back of a spoon or a knife. If the bread has little nooks and crannies in it, make sure that you press that mixture in there, that garlicky butter mixture. You want it to go in the bread so it can infuse the whole bread. And then I like to sprinkle some freshly grated Parmesan cheese on top, and it's ready for the oven. My oven is preheated to 350 degrees Fahrenheit, but I did make this the other day when I was in a hurry at 400 degrees, and I liked it. It came out a little more crunchy. If you do it at a lower temperature, the bread is gonna stay a little soft. If you do it at a higher temperature, it'll get those really nice crusty edges. So I'll leave it up to you. Let it cook in there for about 15 minutes, and it's cooking on the center rack. For the last minute or two, I do like to turn the broiler element on so that way the cheese melts and it gets some nice color on there. Not too much color, keep an eye on it so it doesn't burn. Let it come out of the oven and let it sit at room temperature for about 5 minutes or until it's easy to handle, and then just cut it up into slices and serve it. This goes great with salads or stews. I'll be serving it today alongside my chicken chili that I made, which is so good. You're gonna wanna check that recipe out as soon as I post it. I'll post it right after this recipe. When you cut into this, you're gonna see that the top layer is gonna be buttery and soft and so flavorful. It smells incredible. Time for the taste test. I'm gonna dip it into the chili just because it's here. Oh my goodness. Bread is my weakness. Top with this buttery garlic mixture and the cheese. Almost tastes like a pizza. Somebody better come and take this away from me. This is so good. You guys are gonna love this one. You can head on over to the website, dimitrasdishes.com, to print it out. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. Thank you so much for spending time with me today. I'll see you all next time. Yes, us.